Hello, everyone, and welcome back. It's Eliza Rose, the business mystic, and I am really excited to get started on today's topic. So, today's topic is to settle once and for all who is in charge of your personal branding when it comes to astrology. Okay, because I've had people argue with me, and that's great, but I don't care. So I'm going to tell you who I believe is in charge of personal branding. And if you're smart, you're going to take my advice and you're going to apply it to your business, and then you're going to see things just lock into place. You're going to be like, oh, this makes sense. And now you won't feel like you're fighting yourself, and everything will be in alignment. I am a Virgo rising, so everything has to be in alignment. Everything has to be in order. Okay. And ordered, right? Okay. So here we go. I have my own framework. I focus on 5 things. I call it my 5 signs of success. I also called it in the past the cash flow, the celestial cash flow roadmap. I've called it different things. I've played with it, right? So here's what I focus on. I focus on the sun sign, the moon sign, the rising sign or ascendant, the midheaven, and the 12th house. Those are the 5 signs that I focus on in a client's chart. When we're doing business readings, an astrology or tarot consult, these are the things I look at. I don't look at planets. I don't look at asteroids. I don't look at any of this other shit, right? And it's not shit. They're important. These things are very important, and they're nuanced, and they help add to a very layered and detailed picture when you're using this information for self-development. But when it comes to business, okay, when you're not trying to predict and you're not using astrology for timing of certain things, but when you're using it to create core foundational decisions and strategy and understanding what tactics are right for you, this is the information you really only need. This is essential. Everything else adds to it, but it may just confuse you in the end unless you're just knee deep into this, because you're a busy business owner. You need the right information. You need insight that is in bullet point format that will help shorten the learning curve or the connection or the thread between you and your success. You don't need more information to get in between and then analysis paralysis your brain. Okay, I'm done with my shtick. I'm done. All right, here we go. So let's settle it. Who is in charge of personal branding? 2 signs. Your rising sign or ascendant and your midheaven. But they are in charge of 2 very different aspects, or they're in charge of 2 different parts of your personal branding. That's not a cop-out, it's the truth. Now, your moon sign does affect your personal branding. I'm going to say that. I do say that. It affects the overall vibe and the experience that you want your customers or clients to have. Okay, we can't ignore the moon. The moon is the eye of where the eye and the beauty in the eye of the beholder, like that's the eye. Your moon is the eye. Okay, and what's filtering it is where your Venus is at in your chart. So where your Venus is in, where she at, and where your moon and what your moon sign is, they do play a part in the overall experience that is your lifestyle, your aesthetic, okay, and of your brand. The overall vibe. Okay, it's the presentation, but it's not the actual present itself, and it's not the packaging. Okay, so if I give you so how does the moon and the Venus affect things? Okay, so here, let's use this example. Let's actually use that. So if I have a present for you, okay, and I just kind of throw it at you, okay, and I just give it to you and it's out of context, you're like, what? It won't make sense to you, right? So there's a presentation that has to happen here. There's context that needs to occur here. If I give you a birthday present for your birthday, you're like, oh, this makes sense. If I give you a present because it's a special day between us, or a special day for you, or I'm congratulating you, it makes sense. So the moon and the Venus give you context for the overall presentation of this gift. Where is this gift being presented? How is it being presented? Why is it being presented? Why is it that you have to have elephants in a parade when you're presenting this gift? Your moon and your Venus kind of denote that. They give us that kind of context for it, right? But the actual packaging, what gift wrap did you use? How many bows are stuck on there? Is it minimalistic? Is it like full of florals? Okay. This is where your signs kind of get in. This is really where the midhaven comes in. The midhaven is in charge of the packaging. Okay. How does it feel? Is it linen? Is it cardboard? Is it a gift bag because, it's efficient? Okay. How much tissue paper do you have in there? What color? Does it have sparkles? Was it left over from Christmas or from some other person's birthday? Like the packaging, the presentation, like, when you first look at it, not the presentation, I'm sorry, the actual packaging, when you first see it, that is your midhaven. Okay. Like you don't even know what's inside. You don't even know what's inside. Okay. That is the midhaven. Then when you get the gift itself, when you like get the package, okay, and you open it up, you see that there's a card. You see that there's a card in there. Oh my God, this card, this little note in here. Oh my God, it's so nice. I love it. Okay, I love it. It's so great. Okay, the card, that is your rising sign. It is part of your personal branding. Everyone puts a card in gifts. Everybody. They'll scribble a little note, or if they forgot, they're like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I totally forgot this card, right? But everyone has a little card in there, whether it's a gift card or an actual like greeting card, and it's personal. You signed it. That's your rising sign. Okay, so overall presentation, context, Moon, Venus. Definitely. We can't ignore that. But when it actually comes to the gift itself, aka your personal branding, it's your midhaven and rising working together. Okay, you're like, Eliza, I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced. Okay, fine. We'll use another example. We'll use real estate. Everyone knows real estate. Everyone has bought a house or looked at houses they want to buy. Okay, here we go. I'm pretty sure Zillow is international. If it's not, I'm sure that you could probably look this up if you're not in the US. Or if you do like Airbnb or Verbo or VBO or whatever, you're looking for a rental property in another country. This is very similar. Okay, so for the US folks, we're going to use Zillow. So Zillow is an online platform that showcases homes that are for sale or for rent. And then you go in and it gives you details. And if you're looking for a house here in the US, you typically will go on Zillow, you look at a house for sale, and then you go see it. And if you like it, you contact a real estate agent, the selling broker, and your broker, and they will give you a tour of the home. And if you like it, you buy it, right? It's very straightforward. I think we all can kind of like understand that concept. So if we're looking at it in the context of Zillow and selling a home, okay, we're going to use all 5 sides here. Okay, if you're looking at things online and you're like on your phone and you're perusing and you're looking at all these cute little houses and you see the picture ad for the house, guess what that is? That's the midhaven. That's the midhaven. You're like, oh my God, it looks so cute. Look at the little bushes and the little tree. Whatever. This is the ads, the pictures that you see on your Zillow ad for a house is the midhaven. Okay, you're like, I love it. I want it. I saw this. It's cold. You're cold traffic to this house. You never saw this house before in real life. You saw it online and the pictures grabbed you. Maybe even the price. Midhaven. Okay, so your midhaven is like attracting you in there. You don't know anything. Okay, you're coming in. You contact your broker. You're like, I want to see this house. Or if it's local, you're gonna go drive. You're gonna know the address and you're gonna go drive by it because you're weird and you do that. So you're driving in the neighborhood. You're like, oh, this is so cute. And then you see the house and you pull up to the curb and you look at the house. Now you can't get in the house yet, obviously, because if you did, that might be breaking and entering. There could be people still living there, but you're looking at the house and you're seeing it. You're looking at it from the curbside, but you're a little bit closer to it, right? Like you could see it. You could see it. Like technically you could even walk up to it if it's unoccupied. You could like, look through the windows and stuff. That's your rising sign. That's now has drawn you in. You're personally engaged. You're taking a personal action. You're experiencing and interacting with the house. If it's unoccupied, you might be going up to the windows and looking in. But if it's occupied, you're imagining yourself already in that situation. Could I live here? Do I like the colors? Is this the neighborhood that I like? Oh, these are cute. Your rising sign. It's the curbside appeal. Okay, it's a curbside appeal. And if you're looking through the windows, for sure, definitely rising sign. Okay, because you're doing something. Okay. And then when you get your real estate agent and your broker and you go inside the house, now if the house is staged or if it's empty, it's kind of skews this a little bit here, but it's the moon sign. Once you cross that threshold, it's the moon sign territory. Now it's your emotions. Now it's how do I feel? How do I feel about an open floor plan? How do I feel about like stairs? How do I feel about like this 1980s like green carpet? Like all moon sign taking over at this point because it's very much in a personal space. Okay. And your sun sign is your, the sun sign is the foundation. Like it has 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, a garage. Like these are things that we kind of can't move around. It's blueprint type things. Okay. That's your sun sign in there. And then 12th house is all the pipes and all the other things you can't see. Like, is this permitted? I'm not sure. Now, where does the Venus play into this? The Venus is the overall neighborhood. You're like, I love it. It's friendly. There's a lot of kids playing, or oh no, we're not moving here. No. Okay, like Venus, totally Venus. Okay, so that's how all these come together. So to settle this question of who is in charge of your personal branding when it comes to astrology, okay, like overall, like boots on the ground, it's your midhaven and your rising sign. So in the context of outbound marketing, so it's out, you're putting this out there. We're talking about social media. Okay, we're talking about social media. We're talking about cold calling. We're talking about the brick and mortar of a store, of drawing people in. Okay, they're your displays. Okay, this is all your midhaven. When you are talking about stuff where people don't know you, from the next profile, from the next person, from the next shop, your midhaven is on display. So you need to be thinking about that. Okay, of like, okay, your midhaven is your best self on your best day. It's the highlight reel of your real life. Okay, so it needs to be the best, the best, the best. Shiny, shiny star. Remember, midhaven is, it's high noon in your astrology chart. Okay, it's the shiniest, brightest thing in the sky at this point. Okay, it's blinding. So you want to tap into your midhaven for the type of content when you're trying to attract people to you, when you're trying to create content that generates a buzz or generates interest, to let people know, like, if they like your style, you need to let your midhaven be in charge of that. And then once they decide to follow you, okay, you could sprinkle in that rising sign stuff where, you're teaching people, maybe you're even educating them, you're getting more personal. You're showing different things. You're showing your process. Okay. And, or they subscribe to your email list. They're now part of your newsletter list. That's your rising sign. They're DMing you. They're sending you messages. Rising sign. They send you an email. They reply back to you. Oh my God, this was so great. Thank you. This is a great email. Rising sign. So when people actually come through the front door already and they're in your universe, that's now known as inbound marketing. Okay. They're inbound. They're inside. They're in. If they don't know you, that's outbound. That's your midhaven. That's it. Okay. So customer service, that's part of your personal brand. So you don't want to be a shithead. You don't want to be a jerk to people who have questions about stuff, right? Rising sign. Rising sign. Okay, so that's how you kind of want to that's how you want to put these pieces together. So that's why when you're going through some of these courses, which my colleagues put together amazing courses, right? And so when people are saying, oh, you're right, your personal branding has to be your rising sign, they're right. They are right, but it's only like part right. You also need to look at that midhaven. Okay, so you're like, but Eliza, what pictures when I do a personal branding photo shoot, what should I do? Bring both. For the ones where it's like, I need to grab attention or let people know if they're really me or not, that midhaven come through. Okay. Let that midhaven come through. When people are, checking certain things out, like have a mix, do the rising sign, do a little bit of both. Like you could have different outfits. It's okay. It's still you. But when you're trying to tap into your astrology to bring that certain energy in there, you need to pay attention of who's in charge of what. Midhaven, outbound marketing, cold traffic. They don't know you, but you want to put your best foot forward, right? Midhaven. When they're already in your universe, they're getting to know you, they're learning to know, like, and trust you on a deeper level, rising sign. Customer service, onboarding, rising sign. Newsletters, DMs, rising sign. Okay? So, what have we learned here? We've learned that it takes actually quite a village to create a very compelling personal brand that's one of a kind, that's unique, and is 100% aligned and authentic to who you are. That's what we learned. But you've also walked away with now knowing who needs to be in charge of what when it comes to your marketing, and how you can always make sure you are putting out your best foot forward, but in a very authentic and personal way. All right. So if you have any questions, comment below. If you're watching this on social media, if you're listening to this on a podcast, please leave me a 5-star review. This really helps folks find my content and helps them get the information that they need so that we all win. When we're all sharing our gifts, we all benefit and we all win. So with that, thank you so much for listening, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.